And for the last time today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DreamHack Open live from Austin as we look to close out our final series of the day here between Space Soldiers and OpTic. It's brought us to the third and final map. And it's going to be on Train, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once more. Monitors, what do you make of this map jumping into it now that we see these two teams go back and forth at each other on the last two maps?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Train. This is the one map I think I watched in preparation for this tournament from OpTic to see kind of where they were at. This is the map that they just like were a little bit weird on when they had their last roster. So I want to see if there was any improvements, and it definitely looked like they had a lot better of a CT side. As for Space Soldiers, I'm not entirely sure where they stand on this. Again, I think it still stands true that they're in a spot where they don't have a single map where they can call home, right? So that's gonna be definitely a problem for them. And so I guess just like the odds suggest, I would probably favor OpTic in this map as well. I think definitely Space Soldiers were the better team on Inferno. I think you played that map over as many times as you want, and provided OpTic don't actually learn from their mistakes in between those maps, then OpTic would lose every time. I would say the way that they played was a sustainable way to approach rounds. They were better on banana, better in the fragging department, and yeah, just more variety of setups and everything like that. But moving on to Train, I'm gonna hold my breath a bit to see how well Space Soldiers start out, but ops are very important. This is an extremely strong map for Yugi, and again, they look a lot better on CT side here than they did on Inferno.
So we're just waiting for, I believe, Space Soldiers to ready up, and in fact, they just did it. So we are ready, ladies and gentlemen, to jump into this final map of the day. Once again, if you are just joining us, it's OpTic going up against Space Soldiers. Both teams have claimed one map so far in this series, and this one will decide it. The winner moves on into the playoff bracket tomorrow and gets the final spot in that bracket. And the loser, sadly, the road will have to end for them here. Space Soldiers spent a lot of time getting here, so they certainly don't want to go home after only 2 days of play. Let's jump right back into it. It's Train once again, and OpTic will be starting off on the CT side. Space Soldiers on offense. Let's jump right into it.
All right, let's get it here as everyone from the offense has moved out towards the white and brown halls, and Gate takes first peek. Ends up falling back. Tiny bit of damage on his way down, but nothing to be too concerned about. Major here on the lower ramp, as everybody else is actually exiting towards outside. So I think he's going to come on the late flank, but Yugi's going to stop this split in its tracks.
Yugi finding a second one right after that as well as he takes down Engine, but Calyx striking back just as strong, finding 2 kills on his own regard, holding the edge of the short lane. Config is going to try to sneak back up onto him, finds the kill. That's the bomb being dropped too. Gade pre-fired onto an angle that Major pushes right into, leaving only Paz alive in this fight now. A 1v3 set against him. He's going to try to hold, once again, same position that we just saw Calyx go down inside of. Right at the edge, right by this green train in short lane. Nicely done. Gets the 2 headshots onto Config. Brings us into the 1v2. Nearly a 1v1 now as he takes Snappy down to just 10. But Snappy's smart. Bails out of that situation. Gets himself safely tucked away behind the bomb train. He's going to leave it all on Gade. His pass looks like he's going to make a bit of a run for it. Goes back out, gets through T-Con. And he's going to try to make a transition. Let's see where he goes. Looks like it's just going to be towards inner unless he wants to do a quick switcheroo and go down the ladder instead.
Good old loop-de-loop. Running down the ramp. Oh, Gade turns his attention away just for a moment. And just because of that, Paz gets to cross. Would love to make it a 1v1 before the bomb goes down, but that window has closed.
Only ends up tagging Gade, really. Bringing him down to just about 71 HP, but takes a lot more damage. Paz does on the cross, back over to get himself behind the blue train. Peeks back out, and finally he'll meet his end to Gade. So with that, OpTic are going to take control of the opening round, and they'll go up 1-0.
Yeah, and they look good doing it. That was a nice round from Yugi, especially, from just underneath of Heaven. And yeah, hitting those 2 clean shots on the players coming out of ladder was beautifully done. They also seemed very well prepared for the fact that someone was going to come on a late flank. That was Major who staged up on the lower ramp inner, and Gade I think was held for him in the back of Z once the execute came out. So I think they were fully aware of what type of execute that was, and maybe were more prepared for Train than you would expect, especially considering it's a decider map and not a pick.
Space Soldiers are, however, going to start pushing themselves pretty quickly into the T-connector this time. Looking for a quick shuffle out because they did manage to at least get the plant. It's a pretty minimal buy for them here. Actually, I haven't seen a lot of opening pistol round plants for some reason today on the T side in both of the series, at least that I've been able to cast. Just going to try their luck, look to get a second plant, but it's not going to happen. OpTic shut it down very quickly on the outside yard. Without that second plant, we will see the third round buy, but it's going to be lacking severely in utility.
Yep, standard set of affairs. Minimal casualties, a great round to look back on if you're OpTic. Space Soldiers are going to pick up the 5 AKs, have a lot of utility to work with. And again, every time we're seeing a lot less op buys on the T side. Very few players that are probably worth dropping an op on the T side, especially on train. It's hard to find that opening kill, even though some people are quite good at doing it.
Quite a surprising amount of utility that they're able to afford here. Mainly with Calyx, I think, because he got those kills in the pistol round. They brought it so close. That gives them that little bit of extra money to buy some extra nades here. Gade up close and personal. Gets himself into a duel versus Xantares, but Xantares wins it first. Getting a 5v4 advantage started for these guys along with back Boxall's control. Snappy trying to play at the bottom of the ladder. Gets himself into a good position, but he's still going to wait plenty of time for it to go for it. Cajun also trying to take up a spot back behind the first train. Trying to watch for the ramp push, but he too can only manage to get one kill put together. These trades are just not working out that well right now for OpTic.
Wow, they have a lot of utility to work with. Config catches them on the fallback.
Calyx is still waiting back boxes, though, to trade Snappy out as he goes in on the flank. Just 2 remaining here for the CT side now. They're going to try their best to work their way back in. A lot of smokes in the way, too, restricting their vision. They just don't have good intel about what's happening right now, and Space Soldiers have gone back to playing to some very, very safe post-fight positions. Config gets caught jumping up onto the sidewalk, but that Yugi just has to back away. No way he's going to be able to play this out now, and Space Soldiers will be getting onto the board early with that early third-round buy from them.
Although it came down to these trades and whether or not the CTs would have a favorable engagement and doing a little bit of extra damage, but constantly being behind because Space Soldiers were on point with the spacing. I think there could have been a better utility usage, especially from Yugi, who had kept this full nade set in the back of the site. Probably could have denied the plant, could have done damage to the planter for sure. And there was another teammate with him who escapes my memory that could have also probably assisted in denying a plant. They both had Molotovs and instead kind of just let it go down, but I suppose also had a plan for the retake that they couldn't execute upon.
So we're going to see Space Soldiers start to move themselves pretty much into just a default opener here right now. OpTic, of course, getting themselves the next buy. Still up onto the table due to the anti-ecos, but immediately we start to see consequences because of the full team getting wiped off the board for the most part here. Config actually going to be first to fall here. Xantares makes his push to the inside. Back over through Ivy. They're going to be able to get smooth control there. Snappy still waits on the other end. It's actually Yugi that rotates back in with his teammate, but Calyx does a great job of flipping the odds back the other way. Snappy going to be able to hold the short lane though, and more importantly drop the bomb. But Paz comes in for the other side once again, and finishes off the last kill as well to deny that traded round from OpTic. And now tie the game up at 2-2, likely to take the lead because we will have a full eco. Yeah,
we can see how much constriction they had in that execute. I mean, people in CT can't even get into position at Old Bomb. They're all having so much pressure put on them constantly, and it was just a really nice amount of pressure being applied at all the choke points at once, forcing now OpTic to have to fall back onto USPs and just one upgraded pistol on Config. Well, Space Soldiers can kind of do what they want here as they find out that it is at the very best, a force up from OpTic. First contact at Ivy, Config goes down. Bomb gets spotted, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Just a big stack of players here from OpTic with just a full save. Space Soldiers can do pretty much anything they want this round. Very straightforward affair from them. Major hunting for one himself as he sits on the outside, but Snappy is going to be trying to counter that back out. At the end of the day, though, ultimately it's just USPs, and we're really not expecting anything special with that. It's Gade next to peek out, just trying to fish for a little bit of info here. And sadly, with the low HP, he's already going to be dead just a couple of seconds later. Xantares hits the headshot. Major...
Oh, he doesn't see that.
Doesn't see the train, but Calyx does, so that handles that situation. And now just Cajun B along with Yugi. Scratch that, just Cajun B. He's going to play up close over here. And Ivy actually surprises Xantares and takes him down at the very least. Just one kill gain from OpTic, though. And besides that, Space Soldiers have a clean round. And now the lead at 3-2.
Yeah, let's get it going. Space Soldiers looking strong already, surprisingly enough. Definitely have woken up since that last map. Or that needs to calm down. All right. Getting too excited. I don't know who you're cheering for, but it's 3-2.
It's 10 at night. So let's see here now from Space Soldiers. Another opening setup from them. It's probably going to go pretty passively, though. Just taking the early Boxall's control. They won't be going down a ladder just yet because Snappy has the hold on that from the bottom. Calyx as well, doing a little bit of hunting himself over here at the edge of Ivy. But again, nothing to be found there. It's a pretty passive setup from the CTs too. 3-2 split. Snappy, of course, having the forward position here at ladder. He's going to have to end up backing away because he gets hit with a near perfect flashback against him, and that completely flushes him out of the area and gives the control to Space Soldiers.
Getting ladder control has resulted in some of the craziest shenanigans in 2017. Figuring out the best way the totem pole drops, the decoy drops, the flashbang drops, the double man peaks, the ladder baits, all kinds of things. Here from Dennis with a teammate. Clean and patient shooting off. A lot of bullets left over. Can actually get 3, leaving it in a 2v2.
Calyx, nicely done. Knocks out Snappy very quickly and makes this now a 1v2 clutch for Yugi. He's going to have to try to keep his team in contention here now. Can't fall behind too early early on in the game, especially on CT side as well. It's going to become very detrimental to them, but does a good job of picking up the first kill on Major. One more to go. He's got to spot out Calyx, currently hiding behind the bomb train as he makes the push forward. Just going to go for it. Very close range fight now, even with the op in hand, but he can't find him, and Calyx is not giving him any point of view here. He's going to start backing away, and is this it? Is this the save call now from him? Was hoping to see him peeking from upper, and that's it. Didn't even realize that he was right behind the bomb train, so Yugi gives it up, and we will indeed see Space Soldiers take another round, going ahead 4-2.
Wow, that's just a very mature decision, I feel like, to fall back. There was probably enough time to maybe get one peek off and potentially win it, but to take the op into the next round and sacrifice the opportunity to win this, I think was maybe the better idea, especially if he didn't feel totally confident they could do it. So not just throwing the round away because he felt like he had a 20% chance to pull it off. And it's really unfortunate for Gade, to have lost that 0 RWS on that round. 300 damage, 0 RWS. That's a damn shame.
Fortunate indeed. We do see a quick attack pause being called by Space Soldiers, actually, which is a bit interesting, considering that they've got pretty much everything going their way, along with a pretty easy round coming up here. Yugi obviously saving the op, but besides that, it's going to be another half-buy from OpTic. Just pistols for the most part. Most players actually don't even get armor, so I wouldn't even really call this a half-buy. Only by the virtue of them having the saved op is the only reason why they keep it going that way. But it has already gone away, so we're going to be jumping back into the game now. It'll be OpTic's next chance here to, at the very least, do a little bit of damage. That's the one kind of silver lining for OpTic right now, is that they haven't allowed Space Soldiers to run away with a massive economy just yet. It's good, but it can still be pretty easily broken on one rebuy.
Now, they definitely get to know off of this round. They know because Yugi's hung on to that op, that they have to be aware of him at all times, which is really nice for OpTic. They could slow this round down a lot. They could juggle rotations. They could find multiple openings for Yugi and constantly keep Space Soldiers on their toes at least. So whether or not they win this round, it will make Space Soldiers work for it. And we can see that patience, so everyone's treating this round with a lot of respect. But there is no push to come out, and it seems like everybody's got their smoke selected. They come cascading over A site. Snappy here in the ladder, all by himself. No opponents just yet.
Oof, Yugi firing off a little bit early, but he's able to recover nicely. Snappy finding a quick pickup here too. Space Soldiers maybe rushing the situation too much. Nice shot from Yugi. The no scope right to the head of Major, but Calyx is finally the one there to trade. It's now, however, a 2v4 situation. Despite the fact that OpTic only have pistols, it's still a massive advantage for them, given entirely pretty much by Yugi. Snappy, of course, helping out a little bit with that deagle kill. But Yugi, definitely the star of the show here. Snappy knocking out one more as well with the deagle in hand. Just Paz left in this equation, having to try and somehow pull off a 1v4. And he's not going to be too quiet about it either. All the CTs crunching on him very quickly. He's picked up one kill, but he's now down at 9 HP. And Gade will finish off the situation, as we do see an upset round come in from OpTic.
Yeah, you got to think, that was the perfect response to dealing with Yugi there. Had him on cycle. Really had to pull off that no-scope. And folks, definitely don't try this at home.
Great stuff from Yugi here. This is the shot. Just no hesitation on it. Just goes right for it. Believes in the instinct, and it works out well. Sinks it. And primes his team to shut down the remaining 2 players that were left over after all of that chaos. Space Soldiers, though, are fully rebut back into it still. So it is going to take at least this round to still break them. Oh. Best nade toss from Cade, sadly, but thankfully won't impact him too heavily right now. Just has to fall back away. Push coming down, perfect time to peek back out to. Immediately spots the head of Xantares, finds a second on the pass, almost gets that third on Major, but he comes out on top of that door. Cajun B still has position in the site, but oh no, what's happening? Calyx has moved in, he's found another kill on Snappy. The T's have Z control all of a sudden, and Cajun's had to fall back a little bit, as he's also lost Config on the upper rafters. Yugi almost losing his life right there at the end too, as Cajun is taken down on the back lane, so that is it. Yugi is left with no choice but to fall out of the site, and Space Soldiers just go for a direct play into the B site, and it works like a charm.
Damn, this is the kind of game you got to look back at these rounds and go, what the hell just happened? Because they're going inner, and almost every single time, Gade is having insane impact, right? He's killing 2 people. He's doing 250, 350 damage sometimes, and they're still just losing straight up, not able to retake, leaving Yugi alone to clutch. How is it that everybody's dying on their way into the site just to set up for this post plan? Now Yugi can't even threaten with the op in the next rounds. I think they have enough money to buy again. Yeah, it looks like they will. So at least Gade will potentially drop for him.
It's split though, so it's not going to be everybody getting fully armed. Yugi gets the op, but right. 2 players had to go on pistols.
Boy, that's tough. I mean, inner is very retakeable, and it's good on Space Soldiers that they're making sure OpTic cannot get comfortable, but that really is their main motive once they know that Gade is having that much pressure put on him, is try to get into safe spots at the back of the site, let the dust settle a little bit, hold on to that utility, and then go ahead, start smoking off choke points, push up, instead of just dying one at a time first.
Since OpTic did get themselves reset after that last round, once again, it is a forced buy for them just to empty out their bank account before they would be forced to save one last hope. Try and keep them competitive here. And to start off the round, Space Soldiers do get aggressive with their push up through Ivy. Their own Molly, though, is going to hold them back quite a bit. Give players like Config time to get into better positions here. He's going to wrap around through the old bomb tunnel, try to take up a spot on the other side of this to better counter it out so that they can have dual angles here. Remember, Config only working with a pistol. It's going to be detrimental to him. Gets very close to a kill on Xantares, but can't find that second bullet's connection. Only brings him down to 44 and continues to fight as well, as now he's found a second kill on a Cajun. Gade still waiting from within side of the site. Their ladder player is going to be forced to the outside and well into the open. Gade sadly can't get anything together this time, and Snappy, back over by that ladder room, is also taken out of the equation. Yugi, once again, the last man standing, and it will pretty much just chill out here. It's a 1v5. No way is he clutching this. His best hope is to save the op.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing that you can say is that at least Space Soldiers are doing a good job of avoiding the op until the very last moments of the round, no matter what. So that is something for him. It must suck for Yugi to feel this kind of helpless. Again, put in a position to constantly have to retake and just think about saving.
Good job of controlling the current situation at the very least. Tries to go for another quick no-scope. Not going to happen this time. Flash at least did hold them back for a couple of seconds, but they want to drop this, and they're going to succeed in doing so. Major's the one that finishes it off. And a 6-3, OpTic completely reset and forced onto a full eco, so we're more than likely going to be looking at 7-3 in just a couple of moments.
Yep, seems like the experience is coming through, and Space Soldiers and I guess Major is calling one hell of a game because they are picking all the right sites and their inner hits, despite getting the best possible holds out of Gade, are still resulting in the rounds being won. So, I mean, as if they can keep that up, it's probably going to remain a mystery to OpTic as to why they're losing constantly. Inner push has kind of been given up. So Engine throws his flash and elicits all of that bullet spam in response. Now he will try to flank the pusher.
Taking a bit of a cheeky angle, but at the very least giving the best chance to win out the duel. Same is going to be done by Yugi, but neither of the CTs are successful in their attempts to pick up early kills against Space Soldiers. Snappy could get something done. Nobody's watching the smoke angle, but Calyx is still watching the wall at Ivy. They'll be able to take him out, and it's not much longer before the other A players are executed, and Space Soldiers pick up the round at 7-3 now. A strong lead established for them. OpTic are coming back in with another bye. Even with that win, however, they are still looking at a potential immediate reset if they don't win it in a very clean fashion.
Yeah, Space Soldiers were tense at all. I mean, this is where they can kind of like loosen up a little bit, crack their neck, and really just think clearly about what they want to do, because they know how to take inner and outer, and that's kind of what I always talk about with the T-sides. It's just establishing the ability and to show the ability to take anything you want, and then from there, just picking the best option, right? It's really the CTs who are going to be constantly confused as to what you're going to do, and that's really what Space Soldiers have opened up in the 7 rounds that they've won.
Space Soldiers are going to make the push forward. Ready to take the challenge, but he's too exposed. Cajun supposing to help them The problem is he can only find one trade himself, a 2-for-1 opener. Again, not going to be favoring OpTic, and they don't even have a lot of utility sitting on Yugi, Snappy, and Convict to actually get back into the site. They may have already called this a save, and yeah, it's looking like the case. 2 players falling out of Ivy already. Yugi more than anything watching for a push from T-Connector, so that's it. Space Soldiers, another shock and all play from them, works out perfectly as they breach the B site and secure an 8th round.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's, you know, the tempo is there. It's hard to predict. I mean, even Gade, who was doing so well, just got caught totally off guard, backpedaling into the site to get to Dennis. He was just going to spot. Didn't expect them to follow up so quickly. And put OpTic in a save, and that's another player bleeding out in this position. Space Soldiers getting better at hunting exits by the rounds.
Config at least finding one trade, but that does immediately get sent back the other way, so no save at all again from OpTic, and they are left with no choice but to just go for upgraded pistols. That's all they can afford. They're all sitting at around 3K. So the options are not really presenting themselves. OpTic is stuck in this buy save cycle, and they cannot seem to find a way out of it. In the meantime, Space Soldiers is raking in the cash every round. They've got players sitting at 10K and over that now. 3 of them, in fact, sitting at that amount.
Config tries to push out of Ivy with just his Deeg. That's just going to be a point of relief for Space Soldiers to know. He didn't, number 1, didn't have N-Arbor, number 2, didn't have a good gun. Just, there it is, clearly an eco round as they work on Ivy control. Quintessential move for the terrorists to compromise a lot of the spots outside. And they have been very good at doing it. Xantaris kind of taking the horns on this one. No spotting green, being very patient to catch Gade. Just trying to seek out some information.
They're very smart in general with these anti-ecos too, because they never go for that very fast-paced play when they know they're going to be on an eco round. They always take it very slowly, especially towards Ivy, because OpTic has tried many, many times to mess with them when they've gone for Ivy pushes, and it's almost never worked because of how slow Space Soldiers have taken it. They know for a fact that they want to get aggressive here, so they just play it as slow as humanly possible. And as you can see, they're just given kills time after time again.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they look like they have a lot of clarity of mind right now in their decision making. The double op response for OpTic comes into play. It's kind of the easy answer, the band-aid to a situation where you can't figure things out. Basically, one way to level up your firepower.
Have to be sure, though, this is going to be something that can work consistently. Like I said, winning a round in clean fashion is the key here. Although that might not matter much anymore with how close to the end of the half we are. But regardless, it's Xantaris again showing up with the opening entry. He's going to push himself forward, knock out Snappy early on. It's not one of the ops gone down just yet, but it is a very crucial player getting eliminated. Yugi, though, makes a bit of an impact here. He's looking for another one. Config holding out, but Calyx finding trades along with Paz. The quick switch over to the pistol as he's finally found Yugi and isolates him out of the fight. Major with a big flank coming in from the B site. Isolates Gade and takes him out. It's just Cajun left in the back halls of A. Nothing for him to really do in this situation. He does have utility to give him a bit more room to push forward. The T's are actually a bit timid to find the plant, but they've finally gone for it now. And Cajun just fishing for anything that he can get here. They know he's in these back halls as well. As you can see, they're just throwing so much utility to restrict him and buy time, more importantly, for Major to make his play along the back halls. He started it off, but it's going to come to a close very quickly as Major completes the flank.
Damn, I mean, they basically just called pistol right there, so it looks like they're just trying to reinvent, or just invent new ways to win. I mean, they want to keep it different, but also simple. I think they clearly have the confidence going in their favor, and yeah, just doing the T-con split with ladder, and then having Major come down the lower ramp on the big flank. It's a bread and butter play for the Space Soldiers as they look to close out this half 12-3 potentially. Pistols only, again, for OpTic. Engine actually doesn't win his fight this time. Trying to defend against Inner.
Config, though, immediately gets traded, though, so we're right back into a 4v4 as the fight begins on Ivy. And like I talked about before, it's the same situation with OpTic continuing to get aggressive over here on Ivy. Space Soldiers maybe overextending their hand a little bit here with Xantaris continuing to push forward, so he's going to watch out for that. But again, they've learned their lesson. They've gone back to the more passive setup, and now the smoke has faded. OpTic know that they cannot have much of a chance to win these duels in the corner peaks. So they'll back away and continue to play it passively as they've been doing before.
Yeah, they're using a lot of presence here, kind of giving up that they have just the majority of their players working on Ivy once again. That smoke actually works like heavily in OpTic's favor, but they didn't actually push off that information. They could have gotten T-con control. They could have gone through with Inner. I think Paz only arrived here late, Snappy's actually finding a new way to approach it, however. Very strong spot, especially if they do come back to inner and he stays here to just deny a plant. But if you wait long enough, Paz might find a tricky way to kill his teammates or stop their rotation. So a lot of this is going to come down to timing now. He's going to fully expect to eventually see somebody. I don't know if he's going to consider. Oh, wow. They're actually just going to use this to split outside.
So Yugi spots the play, takes himself a long walk over to the old bomb tunnel. He's going to wait there for the eventual push to come back out. Still can't hold himself alive, however, even though Gage sneaks up on the sandwich lane. Paz is going to be able to quickly execute another player. Time's getting a little bit low for the plant here. If they can deny that, okay, hold on. There might be a chance to win this on the timer. They're going to run away. Hopes that it was enough. Did Major get this down in time? I don't know if he did. Oh, just got it. Less than a second left on that one.
On Luku Maluku.
Cajun obviously to run away in hopes that that kill would have been enough to play it down on the timer. But it ended up being the case, and yeah, not really a whole lot of options left. Just runs in, tries his luck, and it does not play out into his favor. Paz will finish off the round, and Space Soldiers go up to 11 as we enter the final round of the opening half.
The crazy part about that is that he could have continued to, or gone back in and tried to spam and deny the plant one more time because there was no chance to run the bomb anywhere else. But then, you know, he thought for sure, like, there's just no time left over. It's hard to blame him. He was within a split second of being correct. So it's just going to happen sometimes.
Doesn't necessarily know the positions of the other players there too, so there's a good chance someone maybe swings out from sandwich lane and trades him really quickly.
Would have felt stupid if he died, right?
Yeah. Obviously, called out on that too. So can't blame him for his decision in that situation, but this is going to be much quicker from Space Soldiers. They go right to the site. It's a series of trades going in all directions here, really. But with Yugi's most recent kill, it's looking like it's going to be much better here for the OpTic roster. Can they close it out? There was no. Major goes back in and evens up the fight for yet another time. Snappy, though, is looking to change the dynamic again, but Engine will catch him at the edge of the short lane, leaving only Gade in this fight for a 1v2.
The stars are truly aligning in these moments. Gade in the 1v2. He's got the aim, but does he have the game sense? The clutch gene. We'll soon find out. Looks like Space Soldiers are going to reset this round and take it slowly. They've caught players off guard, but they don't want to discount anybody just yet.
Gade's remained a relative mystery to them, so they don't know exactly where he's positioned. They don't want to take the chance of getting caught off guard and him picking up a quick lineup on the double kill, so they'll reset their positions and take the safest route that they can easily clear out all the positions from with two guys, and that is going to be just the walk-in from Ivy. And you can see pretty much that. They can have one guy devoted to checking the right angles, one guy devoted to checking the left side, and easily support the plant. Gade, in the meanwhile, thought this was going to be a quick rotate towards inner. Wrong to assume so, but again, not really his fault considering the lack of intel that he got. That shot gives it away, though, so he's going to get a couple of extra seconds to rotate inappropriately. This might work as a little bit of a bait here, too. As we saw Major peeked out there before, it wasn't there for when Gade actually went out from Z, however. So it's let him into the site, and Space Soldiers are going to continue to play this incredibly passively. So they hold back. They've actually potentially allowed for this to be isolated into two separate 1v1s, but they're trying to make it so that he has to waste as much time as possible looking for those kills. Oh, Engine's got his back turn, walks right up, takes him down. Now it's down to the 1v1, and Major, he's got to make a run back into the site all of a sudden through Ivy, but Gade looks like he's expecting that. The smoke goes up on top of the bomb. It's going to mind game this a little bit, it looked like originally, but no. Jumps onto the defuse here. The spam coming in from Major, and he executes him. So it's one more round for Space Soldiers, 12-3. Probably the most dominant scoreline we've seen so far here today at the end of the first half.
Yeah, no. Good halves are called, and it was super dominant, and it's just like the quality of the rounds, too. I mean, it looked like by the end of that, how did Space Soldiers, or how did OpTic even win a round? I mean, Space Soldiers were getting everything they wanted out of every kind of execute. The fast inners, the slow inners, the fast outsides, the slow outsides. It was just the splits. I mean, it was basically just a pistol, the one anti-eco, around somewhere in the middle. It was,
yeah, pistol, anti-eco, and then that monstrous play from Yugi.
Right.
With the op.
Right.
It was
on the eco.
Yeah, it was an eco.
An eco. Oh my goodness.
So they did not win a single gun round throughout the entire course of the half. It was a pistol, an anti-eco, and then a weird eco with an op that they only managed to put up onto the board. So definitely a discouraging half at the minimum for OpTic, and they have to get back into this quickly on T-side. Otherwise, this could be a very, very quick third map. And the series going the way of Space Soldiers.
It's looking grim, to put it lightly, and I definitely expected a lot more from OpTic on their CT side. But credit to Space Soldiers. I mean, they were swarming sites. You know, they were just dismantling everybody else somehow. You know, even with Gade's holds, they were getting into B. Even with Yugi outside, they were avoiding him. It was great.
Actually Unfortunately, it's looking like Space Soldiers are going to choose to take a timeout right at the beginning here. Continue their discussions from halftime. They do get a minute to discuss things at halftime, and instead going to use one of their pauses to extend that by another 30 seconds and give them a bit of additional time to figure things out.
Take your time. I mean, this is a very important match, obviously. Map 3. It's definitely getting a bit late here for the players, but again, this could be the last map. This is going to be the last map of the day, or the last map of the tournament for one of these two teams.
To clarify, it looks like it was actually a technical pause. They used the tactical pause to be able to trigger it, but it looks like someone's monitor had the cord got pulled out of it or something like that. So that was the reason for the extra pause there.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah. So no additional discussion being had since it was of technical nature. And we are going to see OpTic jump onto the T side here. This is it, really. I mean, this is a devastating scoreline to where if Space Soldiers win the pistol, the game is nearly over unless they can pull off an early eco. They've really got to show up with some strong stuff on the opener and take control of this first round. Otherwise, it could be over before it even begins on their T side.
Calm before the storm. Everyone's setting up for what looks like an inner hit, and just, follow that red dot on the mini-map to know what the T's intentions are. So Major's pushing up. Actually found a nice way to deal with this. Clean headshot to kick things off. Two guys get executed immediately. Looking for 3.
Major.
Oh my goodness.
Some smooth headshots from him, although he does finally go down, but it works out well to be a bait, as now Cajun B is the only one left that can stop this. The defuse is going to be happening. It is a full 10-second defuse. Cajun moving out, but Calyx clotheslines him, shuts him down, and that is Space Soldiers to control the second half pistol, and they might have just won the map with that round.
Wow. Really made that look effortless. And again, the guy who started out the last half with 0 kills, pulling off the curry on the pistol round. A nice 3-piece. Good night.
He's dominating, by the way, so far in this map compared to the last map's performance. He's actually tied for top rank with 2 of his other teammates at 16 kills right now, 16 and 6. So he does have the highest KD.
Yeah, saved up that super bar.
So he's come back. Definitely wasn't happy with the way that first half played out over on Inferno. I wanted to show his stuff here for the third and final map. Now the good news for OpTic, they did get that plant, so they have the capability to buy it a little bit stronger here into the second round. They know what is set against them in terms of the scoreline, so instead of waiting one more round, letting Space Soldiers get to 14 virtually for free and then buying, they're just going to force it up right here, it looks like.
I would do this as well. I agree with this choice.
To stop the momentum at the very least. Oh, Engine's blind out here too. Great flash being tossed in by OpTic. Gives them that opening avenue that they need along with the early 5v4, but they are going to have to wait a few more moments. And what is this from Major? He's walked all the way out, around through T-spawn, hasn't seen much yet, but if he moves in just as the execute's going off, he could do some massive damage. Yeah,
he's actually just deciding to, instead of like triggering this early, okay, he spots him walking to outside. I think he's going to call his teammates to pull off this rotate, and
this could become a moot point, though, on the flank, because they don't have anyone inside of the site anymore. They're just going to swarm right in. He's moving up way too slowly, so someone's going to be checking for this soon. Gets 1 kill and the second put together. Finds another player in the short lane. Just going to chuck a nade into that one and back up for a little bit. Let's see how the B rotators are doing. Not too well, sadly. Cajun B has taken down Xantares, but Calyx took a different route. He's now been spotted out, though, so the element of surprise is gone. Takes the duel successfully, regardless, against Gade, and now brings us into a 2v2. Major's got to be careful about that short lane push, however. Looks like they're going to try to play this together, see if they can double peek it at the same time. Major, at the very least, would look to cause a distraction. There's the flash. Major starts to push up, finds the angle that he needs, and gets the kill. So everything falls to Cajun B, and he goes down too. Space Soldiers pull off the retake, prevent the upset round, and go up to 14.
Major, dude. Who is this guy? He's looking so good right now. Like, the way he played the flank and then the 4 kills in total. I mean, I don't know how they didn't kill him at a certain point, but the way that he lined up all those frags and knew exactly where they're going to come from and how carefully he played things was just pretty beautiful stuff.
The timing of his play, especially at the end here, works out like really well. And again, they keep the team coordination going very well too, because he has the assist flash right before he makes that final push to get that last kill right there. So some really good stuff overall coming out from Space Soldiers. And this is just a massive individual performance from Major coming into this game specifically. They want that playoff spot. I'm sure they want the finals as well. Taking down OpTic, it's just the first step for them. Now that's a bit bold. And sadly, sowing his own rewards right there as he just goes for a direct peek at the top of ladder and is going to get pretty much as expected. A shot to the head right after that as Gade takes him down. But even Gade takes a lot of damage from that, goes all the way down to 35 HP. OpTic not going to take the ladder control, however, after getting that kill. And instead are just going to go to the back box halls to set up for what could become an inner hit.
See what happens now. Zentaris gonna push his way back into the ladder. Flash goes in to clear things out. No one's there. But you can see that OpTic kind of want to test these waters. I mean, they might have heard Zentaris fall back. We're not sure. Certainly will expel some of their utility to find out.
Cage on their way, hard peeked on the angle. There we go, there's the totem pole drop. Just sitting up for it as Cajun had held the angle previously. It's not too much extra effort to get the players down there. There's going to be 3 guys going out ladder, actually. Zentaris taking one of them down, but way too low HP to continue that fight. Out they're going to go. This actually, I think, catches Space Soldier. Oh! Paz, scratch all that. Bro. He shuts it all down and keeps the numbers advantage alive here for Space Soldiers, but Yugi is doing a great job of keeping OpTic in the fight. Not only this, but Cajun with a quick wrap around into the short lane finds Paz out. It's only Calyx, and they've already restricted him. They know where he's going to be coming from. He could deny the plant, though, because remember, that hasn't gone down to the ground yet, but it's in a very safe position behind Bomb Train, so that will be denied. Calyx just going to have to trade and go for the 1v2. A double peek from OpTic, though, prevents that. And finally, OpTic will get around to start off on T side, and also, more importantly, prevent Space Soldiers from going up on a map and series point.
Oh, we're just seeing absolutely monstrous individual plays from OpTic. I mean, sorry, from Space Soldiers with some of these like 2 pieces that just they shouldn't be possible. Like Calyx and Paz in that round, on top of Zentaris just like consistently doing it, and that's kind of bailing them out. Major as well. Like it's just I don't even know where all this star player potential is coming from, but these guys are really using this game as a time to shine. As for OpTic, dealing with that round quite well. It's just a drop in the bucket, all things considered.
Gade. Careful here going for the wraparound. But still takes it carefully. Has the support from Snappy, too. They quickly knock out Calyx. You'll notice as well, Space Soldiers, instead of trying to reforce into the situation, just take the slow route. They have a massive cushion of rounds right now to play off of, so there is no reason to try to end this early on here. They can play it nice and slow, and that's exactly what they've done with a straight-up full save on this round.
Cajun spot 2. 3 actually now. The CTs are scurrying around Sandwich.
Just a matter of spotting out Engine. And he'll get himself the duel with Gade, who's already watching for this position. So he'll go down pretty quickly, too. That's exactly what OpTic needed. A nice, clean round. Granted, obviously, Space Soldiers make it a little bit easy by not buying anything at all. But with that save, they should be good to reinvest. And actually, no, they're not going to do it yet. Specifically, I think, because Engine's just a little bit low here. So they're only going to half buy in this round, I think.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You can win with CZs straight up. So can't fault them for doing this.
Yeah, they're going to prep for some kind of big buy in the next round because they're still sitting on about 3K each. Engine's going to make a very aggressive push to get himself forward here, but at the same time, OpTic have done pretty much the exact same thing. Paz is actually going to be able to catch that player, too. It was Snappy. They went for a quick push on the short lane. Paz meets him at the first train cross, knocking him out. And giving Space Soldiers a 5v4 start to this round. Calyx as well, definitely spotting some of the action back down at the top of ramp. So he is ready for the fight and is called for rotates.
Looking like he's posturing to defend as well. Ready for this fight. Major's got his flash out and says, listen, call it and I'll flash. Terrace is spotting upper. They've got great spots to defend against inner. I wouldn't be surprised if this round goes the wrong way.
So let's see how it pans out. Space Soldiers have everything they could have asked for. They got a flank ready to go. Good opening flash, however, Calyx is going to be able to trade. Oh, swings back around for another one, but failed to account for the second player that was sitting on upper. Config picks up that kill, but even he can't survive against Paz, who's holding by the tanker. Gay doesn't even know where to look right now as he's trying to hold on to the situation. Completely surrounded by CTs, but he's not lost control just yet. Another kill against Engine. And he'll start to work his way back over towards the bomb here. He's going to have to potentially fight someone as he goes there, though. Paz still waiting on the edge, but Space Soldiers have misread this a little bit. They still think he's forward on the site, whereas he's going to walk right up out on the top of ramp and head towards A.
I don't know if they actually spotted him, but as he comes down the ladder, he misses our man on the bomb train. As long as Major makes noise, misses the jump up to the top. 10 seconds remaining though. Gate's got to make a move, and there it is, the 1 dig. before he can do anything about it.
Major dropping right into the fight again there. Now it is map and series point. Space Soldiers with a 10-round lead over OpTic. OpTic at the very least did build up some banks, so they've got a full buy going into what could be the last round for tonight. But Space Soldiers also armor to the teeth here. It's going to be an even fight, potentially, to decide this series.
Yeah, if it comes down to who wants it more, Space Soldiers are clearly trying to send a message.
Winning a 16-5 final map would be the way to do it here. So they're going to open it up. Still a standard hold for the time being. A little bit aggressive on the B site. Oh, and Paz, for the first time ever, really being caught out here. Engine not looking too good, too. He's getting spammed down. Zentari's trying his best to assist, but he can't really do it. Some good entries coming out from OpTic. The first time we've really seen this so far on the T side, where they don't lose multiple players, and that is it. Space Soldiers give it up. They back away. They're calling for the save. OpTic stay alive at least for one more round, but they still have 9 more in a row to go.
Yeah, somehow, I mean, Space Soldiers pull out the eco, but that was a clean entry from Config. It's actually 3 kills straight up from him outside, so he's clearly mad. It's turning green. But will it be enough? It's just such a long road back. It's a long and arduous journey.
OpTic's still not fully convinced that they're going to be safe to leave this site as they check the angles there. See if they can find Calyx or Xantara. It's the same to be said at the top. Giving them so much respect in this situation so as not to lose any of these guns, because they did have to buy out completely in order to do this. Thankfully, still leaving themselves a bit of extra cash, considering the win bonus. But for Space Soldiers, it is pretty much just another reset against them. This time, though, they are going to force it. Since they were reset anyway, might as well empty out the bank account. Yeah,
interesting move. I mean, they've done it with less. Got a lot to work with, and they still save some money on the 2 players that have the full nade sets along with the kits. Don't think OpTic are going to expect this. Oh, the boost on the site, this is actually really strong, especially versus the 3-smoke executes, though Yugi imposing his presence on Ivy with the immediate peek, and I think he spotted that rifle, so I don't know if this will provide them some relief, but they maybe don't expect 5.
Config slowly starting to shift forward. So many flashbangs against him, but Major, how do you miss that shot? How do you miss that shot out of all of them that you've had before you in this game? He's going to be able to stay alive at the very least, but in backing away, Cajun catches him. That's another kill going by the way of OpTic here. Xantara is in a very aggressive position too. He's got to be careful because he's got to do double duty now, watching out for both Ivy and that T-Con push.
Smoke to refresh. You can't use that Molotov. They actually find a small gap in it to push through.
Engine trying his luck as well with a peek. Back down from the bottom of ladder will predictably go the way of Gage and OpTic. And so Calyx is left in a 1v5 where he's no choice but to save. OpTic maintain again on the comeback path. It is still going to be a long, long ways away, but they started it, and they have put Space Soldiers onto more than likely is going to be an eco in the next round. This isn't good, though. Calyx hitting multiple kills. OpTic still need to keep their economy strong. If they end up with a couple close shaves, their buy could still be detrimental. Be brought down. Just simple SMGs in the life, but Cajun finally catches him as he drops back down from upper. Bit of a surprise there for me, too. I didn't even see him there. But regardless, OpTic pick up the round, get number 7 on the board. And Space Soldiers, like I said before, will pretty much just have to go for a full eco here. Calyx should be able to drop some pistols, but besides that, I don't think we're going to see anything else.
All right, OpTic, if you want to play, let's get it then. You want to turn up this late? We'll bring it home. Let's go 8 rounds in a row. Show us what you're made of.
Imagine if they upset this round again. The push coming back in. Oh no. Calyx getting 2 kills. Cajun's going to restore the peace though as he moves in with 3 of his own. 4 of his own actually now as he's brought it down to just Paz. They'll have to now attempt the impossible to close this out, but more than likely, OpTic are going to be safe to get themselves an 8th round.
Bomb has been planted.
Okay.
Ladders are hard. He completes the ace. They can fix that with a jump cut, right?
Yeah.
take the fallout. Get a good editor on that.
Make it look a bit smoother there.
Yeah.
Sing it to the music. But Space Soldiers, let's see actually. There's going to be a pause called from them. They have enough money. I would definitely say they'd buy here. Unless they want to go for something very, 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 very heavy on the next round. But they are holding off on that decision here. So they've called for another tack pause as well.
Major appears to be yelling at his computer. Hopefully he's not generally upset at technology. It has something to do with the game. 144 hertz? What do you mean 1 millisecond response time? How is that possible?
The unpause has come in now, guys, and we're in the regular countdown timer. So jumping back into the fight. The round will begin in just a couple of seconds. And Space Soldiers, yeah, again, they had like 4 to 6K on each player. You can even see it as well, even if you open tab for a sec. Even now, after the buy, on pretty much every player they have enough to buy. But yeah, they're going to take this incredibly passively in terms of the way that they're handling their economy, choosing not to invest here, which means whatever their plan is for the next round, it has to involve some heavy type of buy, or double op setup or something of that nature. Maybe even auto sniper coming into the mix there too. We're going to have to wait and see, because this round, they're just on pistols once again, and OpTic has started it off strong. Cajun coming up with 2 kills. Major jumping in for a little bit of his own flair, though. Knocks out Config. Antares gets caught lurking. Major continuing to find the impact, but predictably, OpTic will still win it out in the anti-eco.
Oh, we're getting close. We're almost touching on those double digits now, and we really do have a game on our hands. We were talking about how a lot of the games at this tournament haven't been kind of streaky one way or the other, and this is kind of the first one. So hopefully, on the way back, they actually make it worth watching. But they certainly look like they are starting to figure things out. And so far, I've only really given up that that one pretty bad eco round. But apart from that, on the rifles, when they're meant to go toe-to-toe, they do. They're holding it together.
Keeping it strong as well. So remember, Space Soldiers only claiming 3 out of the 4 rounds they needed to close this out so far. Getting 2 on the opener after winning the pistol. Sadly, the 3rd round did not get converted by them. It was OpTic that picked it up because they got the opening 2 plants and a lot of extra money. As Major burning them out, though, right at the start here. This isn't good for OpTic. They need to recover very quickly. They've got Engine along with Xantari's very forward. These are the trades they need to find, and in clean fashion. Great Gade going down to 2 HP does not help their case, but at least they find the kill and keep the numbers even now into a 3v3 as they're going to start to push forward, look for control over the site. Paz is being very cautious of a push from up on top of Blue Train. But even he's restricted here now. And Major, at the same time, playing into a passive angle. That gets them the bomb dropped. Gade is finished off. And Space Soldiers once again have the man advantage. Snappy with the trade right back against Calyx. Evens us up one more time as Yugi is going to look for this kill, but Paz as well pick one up. They're right next to each other. Yugi's going to go for the closeout here. He's got the CZ in hand, goes up on top of the green trade, but he's missed the note on him. So is Paz, though. Yugi's got the high ground, and the missed shot from Paz secures it for OpTic. They stay alive one more time, and up to double digits now. They're 5 away from OT.
Oh my god, the most anxious fight right there. The acute angle, and eventually ending with Yugi from the top, the CZ, the 2 operas going at it. Really trying to bait each other into making a play. There it is, the very unlikely 1v2 to keep things going. Back on CZs are Space Soldiers, and OpTic are starting to gain steam. Yugi scoping it out at T-Con. Everybody else posted up around ladder, brown halls. Pistol shot rings off as Cajun gets his bell rung. 27 HP is now what he's down to after that, so definitely not the start that he would have wanted for this round. Space Soldiers are once again trying to play pretty aggressively towards Evox. They had Engine with Paz up until a moment ago, but I think they wanted to overcompensate a bit over towards Ivy. It's going to come back to bite them, but actually, no, they rotate it back. Engine's going to head right over towards the Evox to hold that position once more. Oh, I like this push. They're going to go and take aggressive control, and I think they're going to even pinch from the box halls as well. Wow, great flash, and they just run them both over. The hold inside of the box halls is going to work out for them as well, but the execute on through T-Con works out well, so they're still going to be able to get control. Oh no! Config walks right into the Lion's Den, though, and Calyx picks up that kill, so it's down to now just Yugi in a 1v3 situation. He knows he's got a lot of T's waiting for him on the inside of this ladder room. And how is he going to play this now? The flash to the inside to hold them back. Trying to force them out, I think, but it's not going to work when the smoke is there. It's gone now. Oh my God! From Yugi saves his life and saves OpTic as it keeps them alive, but he's still got 2 more targets to take down, and a fatal mistake peeks out without checking it first. Xantari's gets that final kill, and 16-10 is our final score. Space Soldiers take control of the series, and they'll be moving on into tomorrow's playoff bracket. They're known as online soldiers, but they just made playoffs, so congratulations to them. That's a hard-fought series, and it's got to be devastating for OpTic, who are so close with this fresh lineup to do it, one of their first lands.
Such a strong build-up to this, too. After starting off poorly yesterday, recovered great into that matchup versus Complexity, dominating that one. But sadly, we're not ready to take on Space Soldiers, as they will be the one to push forward in another very, very close series to decide our groups. They will move on, and with that, that settles the 4 teams that we have set for tomorrow's bracket, leading up to our championship title and the top prize.
Yeah, It really seemed like Space Soldiers throughout the game. I mean, they just had control of things. Right, it's 15-5 at one point, and yeah, OpTic did bring it back, but ultimately they just kept doing more stuff to put on the pressure. Maybe if maybe they started on the opposite side at the beginning of the game, we would have had a different game. But we don't live in that world, so.
All right, guys. Well, the analysts are ready to break it down, so let's send it back over to Buck. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Blue. A little bit of a disappointing series there for OpTic as their run comes to an end just shy of playoffs. Space Soldiers ultimately does beat them, but is it a win we can really put under their belt to say, like, okay, Space Soldiers has finally done it on land? Because OpTic also came into this with a bit of disarray.
Well, I mean, first of all, like, I don't think that, like, doing well on land is like a binary thing. Like, I don't think it's a yes or no. Like, either you're good on land or you're not. Like, it's like gradual process. Like, yeah, Space Soldiers' results are better online. Like, it doesn't mean that, you know, there's like something seriously wrong with the team. Like, maybe it's partly the way that they play that doesn't transfer offline as well. Maybe it's, you know, like jitters, experience, like any number of like a million different things. So I don't think it's a binary thing. I think it's a good step forward. I think tomorrow they're gonna have a chance to do even more. Just you know, given the chance to actually play for a title instead of just getting out of the tournament. With OpTic, I think it's hard to say how good they are. I mean, they did pretty well at EPL. I think their run there was pretty good. They were very close to knocking out SK. But again, like, they're still a new team. Like, they were making some pretty silly mistakes, I would say, throughout that series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think both of these teams are, as we've stated many times, their map pools are very weak right now. They're not even sure what their map pools are probably themselves for different reasons for each team. OpTic obviously being a new lineup, and Space Soldiers having Cobble removed really hurt them. So, you know, it was kind of up in the air what, you know, maybe their home maps even are at this point. But we saw a very strong map one from OpTic. They came out blazing, and then it felt like they just died slowly over each map. I don't know what happened. Maybe they lost steam. Maybe they lost confidence in the later maps. Inferno's been such a strong map for them, so I'm really surprised to see them drop it. But that round by Xantares, by the way, was phenomenal. That was an amazing flick by him.
It was a little surprising to me how quiet Space Soldiers were at the beginning on Mirage. Like, that was their map pick. I thought that was the one where they really had a chance to, you know, set the tone. By the way, Xantares has more than twice as many kills as Engine. Look at the entry kills.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's absurd.
His team has 20 entry kills. The whole team. He's got 17. He's also got the highest ADR. He doesn't have significantly more deaths than anybody else. He has the second most assists, and he's got by far the most kills.
Yeah,
he definitely showed up in this series. Something that can't be said for Config, by the way, the other player to watch from his opponents.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Train was a map we expected to see him come out big on. He's a very, I would say, a world-class opper in most people's eyes. So it's surprising to see him at one point, you know, in the second half, he was sitting on 35 ADR. That's rough for someone who's supposed to have such a big impact on a map like Train.
We do have Major standing by for an interview. Congratulations on the victory. You guys have made it to the playoff stages. Are you concerned about your next opponents, or are you just focusing on the fact that you picked up the victory now?
First of all, hello everyone. So we're happy. I don't know who we're gonna play. If you know, you can tell me. I don't know.
I believe it should be Heroic.
Heroic. Okay, it's gonna be a good match. It's a very strong team. So now we need to rest because we are very tired. Then we're gonna see for tomorrow. Yeah,
okay, we won't keep you too long. We won't ask you too many questions, but
okay.
I did have a question about Mirage.
Yes.
What do you think went wrong there, and what did you think you needed to fix going forward in that match?
Every starting of the match we did, we're starting very slow. We have a really deep problem of communication in stress moment. I know we are playing together since a long time. You need to really fix this ISO. We are working very hard on it, but we're starting slow. We are not playing our game until Inferno, when we are losing in the early match. Then we come back, win some rounds, and with the confidence, my team is very strong. But when they are not confident, it's very hard. So we need to start the match better. That's, I think, the key point.
Were you able to figure out ahead of time which maps were going to be played in the game? Because you looked like you were very, very well prepared on both Inferno and Train.
To be honest, normally I watch a lot of demo. Now I didn't have so many time to watch it because I really... I just watch Overpass because we ban Nuke. Against this kind of teams who are strong on Nuke and Overpass, they can play both of map. It's very hard against them because when we ban Nuke, they pick pick Overpass, and it's complicated for us because the bottom map we are not so good on it. I prepared Overpass a lot because I didn't play Nuke. I didn't want to play Nuke against them, but they picked Inferno, so I was a little shocked. I didn't plan Inferno. I planned to Mirage and Overpass. So Inferno was really random, but we already played against them a lot of. So yeah, I didn't prepare it too much, to be honest.
What were your expectations coming into this event?
We need we need to win it. Like I think we are playing together from a long time. If we came here, we need the only objective we can have is to win it. But we need to show good Counter-Strike. It's very important for me, for the team, to showing good Counter-Strike because we are not in good shape and we need that second wine, that second breath. And today I see my team very confident with the second breath. I hope tomorrow we're gonna show again good Counter-Strike.
All right, well, congratulations again on the win. We'll let you guys go so you can go get some rest. You got a long day tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see you guys in the grand finals. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, you too. Good night, guys.
So, you know, pretty confident Space Soldiers. They came into this event expecting to win despite all of their troubles on LAN recently. You know, online, they've always looked great. The interesting thing for me was I've seen them play Train a lot on LAN, but they still don't necessarily look at that as like a go-to map because Kabul was always like the #1. And he did mention it. They expected to play Overpass, which is funny to me because Overpass for a long time has been their permaban.
Well, they're probably, because of the new map pool, that they're probably having to venture out the maps that they didn't really like playing in the past. But definitely Train is something I think it could eventually be their home map. They looked so confident on it. I was talking about it in the green room. I've never seen a Train with almost 5 rifles on T side be so dominant against a team who had two prolific operators.
Yeah.
That was so impressive to watch. They were surgical on that map.
So the funny thing is, like, you would think that their personnel would actually be a much better fit for Nuke than it would be for, say, Overpass or Train, just because they don't have that opping presence. I think there's going to be a lot of bad matchups for them in that regard. So if I were them, I would actually really give playing Nuke some serious thought, because they got 5 really good riflers.
Yeah.
That's the kind of team that you want to be playing on Nuke, because frankly, I think there's a bunch of good teams that have really strong oppers that use the opping aspect too much on the map, more than would have been optimal otherwise, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of good opportunities on Nuke to do aggressive M4 pushes, you know, squeaky and hut pushes, and then outside crunches as well. I think those are all really powerful with rifles, whereas oppers, you don't really want to be getting that aggressive and outside. There's not a lot of places to fall back to. So I agree. I think it'd be a good map for them if they really give it some thought.
Now, you'll notice today on stage that our players were rocking those Astro headsets over top of their earbuds. You can join the Astro family yourself, astrogaming.com. You know, a couple of buddies have had their headsets in the past, and they actually are top-notch. I wish I could actually afford a pair myself. Maybe I'd rock them. I don't really know. But we do have our top 5 plays of the day. It's going to be hard to pick top 5 plays because we've had so many highlight reel moments. But we'll be jumping into the action here with Fragsters versus E United. Expect to see a lot from Fragsters games throughout the day. This is going to be Stabbin's 4K on Mirage. The dude was all over the place, literally roaming the map looking for kills. Top mid, A site, comes up from underpass stairs, then catwalk, like he's just everywhere on the map. So a strong performance from him. We've got Fragsters versus E United now. This is Dapper's 3K with a 2-tap onto Bubsky to get that clutch. That was a huge kill.
Yeah, and Dapper played lights out this whole series. Unfortunately, couldn't bring home the victory.
Space Soldiers versus OpTic. Xantares with a little spicy 4K on Inferno. Looking solid, spraying through the smoke, and then he gets the op out for the last shot. Beautifully placed right onto Cajun B, but you can see the spray down. Textbook. Classic Xantares.
A nice flick.
It's a beautiful flick shot, and there's such a small margin for error. Fragsters versus LG. This is going to be Showtime with an ace on Inferno. Showtime actually played really well. Like, I don't want to say that he's
on that map,
but like, he's not a player we really look at. I think he finished like 27 and 16 on the map. But #1 play has got to be this one. Stabbin's 5K on Inferno, the ace. He went searching for that last one, but this 4K is just dirty.
I think you could have also arguably put in that round where he just pushed middle on Cash. I think it's like, if he got that 4th kill with the op, I think that would have been in there for sure. I mean, that kid is really good. I think I'm most excited about tomorrow is, for me, it's just to watch him play and watch Fragsters play more. I think that kid is going to be one of the best Danish players within a year.
I completely agree. Agree completely. I totally just dyslexia that. That was crazy.
Now we can take a look at our playoff bracket as well, so we can see how things will shape up tomorrow. We mentioned it in the post-game interview. It's going to be Rogue and Fragsters, and then Heroic versus Space Soldiers. I think the Rogue Fragsters game is probably going to be the strongest game of the two. Like, I think that should be a pretty good series. That probably goes 3 maps.
Yeah, I could see that one going 3 maps. I think it will be the tighter of the series. I think both teams have a lot to prove at this tournament. I don't think anyone really expected them to get this deep. Maybe you can make a case for Fragsters, but Rogue, I don't think any of us had them on the radar. Ricky being picked up was really vital for them.
He's really been the difference maker on that team.
Yeah.
He played really well with the team in general, but the rest of the guys also clicked. Like, we saw Hiko kind of returning to form at times, like, as the clutch god. Everyone's called him out in the past as like, oh, Hiko's always the last one alive. I wonder what's going on. But he's clearly regaining his title as, like, the clutch king. We saw it multiple times yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the value that Ricky really brings is the fact that he's so versatile. You can just sort of toss him in, and he can fill in a bunch of roles, whereas Hiko's really good at his role, but that's his role. That's fairly one-dimensional. And same goes, you can say the same thing for many players. It's usually the case for operas mostly. That's why many operas struggle when they have to play a map where their style doesn't really work. But, I mean, Ricky's he's really versatile as a player.
And he's secondary calls. I knew this from the time that I filled in for CLG, and I knew the CLG guys very well, obviously. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So big surprise.
That's shocking.
Yeah, shocking. So I knew he was kind of a secondary caller. So that really, as they mentioned in the interview, that's a big help to him. They knew it immediately when they practiced with him that he started doing that. They were like, we want this guy. So obviously a valuable pickup. On the other side of the bracket, though, Space Soldiers versus Heroic. I don't. For some reason, I don't think it's gonna be close.
Which way do you think it's
going?
Wait,
that's what I'm gonna ask too, because I'm not feeling too confident for either team in that matchup.
I'm in the same boat. I don't really think that either
Heroic
one definitely takes it.
Really?
I'm thinking Heroic. Space Soldiers looked too shaky on day one. They were good today, but they looked too inconsistent. I think Heroic just looked like the better team so far.
Yeah, I still don't really like. I don't understand Heroic as a team. Like, to me,
that's fair.
Like, I don't understand how that team. It's like 5 very similar players. Like, how does that team work? It doesn't make sense to me. So until I figure that out in my brain, there's going to be a discount to what I think they can do, just extrapolating past performances.
Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll be live again tomorrow. I want to give a thank you as well to our sponsors, Astro, Corsair, Monster Energy, Hacks, and of course, New Belgium, who makes the delicious Voodoo Ranger IPA, which I hope to have in my hand very soon. We've got a highlight reel of today's action, and following that, we've got a clip from Double Tap featuring the likes of personalities and players. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.